Here we're asked to find the equation of a line that's parallel to this one, y is equal to 4x minus 7, and our new line will pass through the point 2, negative 3. We're asked to give the equation in both point-slope and in slope-intercept forms, and finally, we'll graph this line. So what information do we have? Well, we're told it's parallel to y is equal to 4x minus 7. If our lines are parallel, they'll have the same slope. So the slope for y is equal to 4x minus 7 is equal to 4. So that will be the same slope for the line we're interested in. We also know that our line has an xy coordinate of 2, negative 3. So if we have a point and a slope, we can go ahead and write this in point-slope form. Point-slope form again is y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. In this scenario, the point that we're given, 2, negative 3, is x1 and y1. And y and x, without the subscripts, are the variables we're relating in this equation. So we have y minus y1, so y minus negative 3 is equal to m, 4, and x minus x1, or x minus 2. All we need to do now is tidy this up a little bit. Y minus negative 3 is y plus 3, and we'll just leave this as 4 times x minus 2 on the right-hand side. And that's our final answer for point-slope form. We'll start now with the equation in point-slope form, y plus 3 is equal to 4 times x minus 2, and just rearrange it to write it in slope-intercept form. And slope-intercept form again is the form y is equal to mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. But we can just, without knowing going in what the y-intercept is, we can just rearrange the equation that we found in point-slope form. Again, we'll start by opening the bracket. So we have y plus 3 is equal to 4x minus 8. And now we'll isolate the y. So we'll take that positive 3 and move it to the other side by subtracting 3 from both sides. So we have 4x minus 8 minus 3, or y is equal to 4x minus 11. From slope-intercept form, we can clearly read off the slope. One more time, it should still be 4. If that's changed, we've done something wrong, as we started with a slope of m. But we can also see that the y-intercept must be negative 11. To graph it, we need to start with a point. So we can either start with the point that we're given, the point of 2, negative 3, or we can use the y-intercept, which is 0, negative 11. I'm going to choose to use the point 2, negative 3 for this one. I'll graph the point 2, so 2 on the x-axis, and y is negative 3, so moving 3 along the y-axis takes me here. And then I'll use the slope to find a second point. Slope, or m, is 4, or 4 over 1, so it's got a rise of 4, so I'll go up by 4 because it's convenient here, rather than going down, which will take me off the bottom of the graph. I'll go up by 4 steps, so 1, 2, 3, 4. And now I have to decide whether, for the run, which is 1, I'll go left or right. Because the slope is positive, so it goes up and to the right, I'm going to take 1 step to the right. Now I just need to connect my 2 dots with a straight line. And there we are. Let's try another one. For this question, we're given 2 points, and we're asked to find the equation of the line that passes through them. So we have 3, negative 12, and negative 18, 17. We're asked again to give the equation in both point-slope as well as slope-intercept form. Well, regardless of which form we'd like to use, we'll absolutely have to find the slope first. So using y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1, we'll find the slope. Again, if I use 3, negative 12 as my first point, I'll call the x and y coordinates x1 and y1. And I'll use negative 18, 17 as my second point. So I'll label the parts of this coordinate as x2 and y2. So I'm ready to fill in the x's and y's for my slope calculation. We have 17 minus negative 12 divided by negative 18 minus 3. 17 minus negative 12 is 17 plus 12, which is 29, and negative 18 minus 3 is negative 21, which we'll write as a single negative number, so negative 29 over 21. Let's have a look at point slope form. Once again, point slope form is y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. And you can use either point, either 3, negative 12 or negative 18, 17. I'm going to choose to use 3, negative 12. So that's y minus negative 12 is equal to negative 29 over 21. It's my value for m. It's not pretty, but that's what it is. And x minus x1, so x minus 3. And the only thing I'll tidy up is this left-hand side. So we have y plus 12 is equal to negative 21, negative 29 over 21 times x minus 3. So starting with our answer, this is in point slope form. We can now write an equation that is in slope intercept form. So we're going to start with the equation in point slope form. So we have y plus 12 is equal to negative 29 over 21 times x minus 3. We'll simply rearrange that equation, solving for y. All right, so once again, the first thing I'll do is use distributive property to open the bracket. So we have y plus 12 is equal to negative 29 over 21 times x, and then negative 29 over 21 times negative 3. In other words, negative 9 over 21 multiplied by negative 3. Remember that when we multiply fractions, we multiply the numerators and the denominators, and that negative 3 has a denominator of 1. And I can actually simplify. Notice that I have a 3 in the numerator and a 21 in the denominator, and both are divisible by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 21 divided by 3 is 7. So my numerator, and again I'm multiplying negative times negative, so I'll end up with a positive answer. My numerator is 29 times 1 is 29. My denominator is 7 times 1 is 7. Or you take 29 and multiply it by 3, and divide that by 21 over 1, and you'll find that the fraction reduces to 29 over 7. Another option, of course, is to simply use the fraction key on your calculator to do this calculation. In any case, we get positive 29 over 7. We're almost done, but to isolate y, I need to move the positive 12 to the right-hand side, so I'll subtract 12 from both sides. So I have negative 29 over 21x, and then I'll write this on the side. Again, we've got 29 over 7, and we're going to subtract 12. You can either rewrite the 12 so it also has a denominator of 7 so that you have a common denominator, or you can use the fraction key on your calculator to do this calculation. Enter 29 over 7, subtract 12, and we find that we get negative 55 over 7. So we have negative 29 over 21x minus 55 over 7. If we were to graph this, and we're not asked to graph this, but if we were to graph this, I would probably rewrite this portion, the y-intercept, as a decimal, and it's equal to approximately 7.86, negative 7.86. And that would make it easier for me to find it on a chart. But I prefer to leave the slope as a fraction so that I can move up and down, left and right to find a second point on this graph.